Our last month of game playing even included a convention, but what new games to us did we get in?
Hi, I'm Julian and this is Libby and we are from BoxedMeeples. So March, it's been a month full of playing games, especially because you went to Aircon.
I did.
I didn't, but you got to enjoy many new games in Aircon.
A few.
While working. So less perhaps than you would have liked.
Exactly that.
But using the power of BG Stats, we are now, as always, going to go through all the new and notable games we played in March. Not necessarily all new to us, or indeed all brand new games. These are games that meant something, that were significant in March.
Yeah, significant games, but it does always include the new ones to us.
Absolutely.
Starting with a new one for us, which is also sort of, I think, a bit of a classic, Bärenpark.
Yes.
We got it for an absolute steal.
Yeah, our friend in the local game shop, Dice Destinies in Canterbury, had a great sale on.
Yes.
Like how are you making money on this type sale? They had Dinosaur World for like £25, maybe even less than that.
Bargain. We had that, so I sort of glazed over that one.
But we picked up Bärenpark and the expansion for a little over £20, which I've seen it for £60 in the past.
I'm sure it was under £11 for the base game, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And we thought we might as well pick up the expansion because it seemed like our kind of thing.
Why not? We've not played the game. Let's
just go straight in. Too. May as well.
We don't have a problem.
No. And
not at all.
We have lots of space on the shelves. We may as well just fill it somehow.
Exactly that.
But yeah.
I have played it online before.
Did you actually play it properly though, or are you just randomly doing it going, okay, it says my turn's been completed, so I've done something right?
What you mean and what you're talking about.
But yeah, so Bärenpark, if you don't know, it was a bit of a classic. It's a tile placement game. They're not quite polyominoes, but
no, they are. Yeah, they are. And they've got bears on them.
They do.
They've got polar bears on them. They've got pandas on them. They've got brown bears. They've got all the bears.
All the bears. But yeah, it's a very simple game to explain, quite quick to play, particularly of two. We kind of rattle through it in about 20-30 minutes. But got enough depth that it doesn't feel like you're just doing the same things each time, different starting tiles.
Different goals to work towards. So like all the polar bear enclosures when we played, and Julian didn't get any points.
Someone stole them all. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
It is a good one, and I think it's going to be one of our quick go-tos, particularly at Board Game Club end of the night. Let's just have a quick game of playing with some bears.
And I think it's even the kind of one where we could probably, kind of if we're feeling a bit chilled, don't fancy sitting at the table for ages, I think it is probably one we could play on our trays, on the sofas in comfort, under blankets, that kind of thing.
A great no bones day.
Right, next I played a game called Beasty Bar, which was quite fun and silly. Everyone has like the same animals, and then you pick from them into your hand of ones that you can then choose to play, and they're all trying to get into the nightclub, and they have different rules as to how they're standing in the queue for the nightclub. So maybe one of the animals, like the giraffe or the crocodile or the lion or whatever, might jump to the front of the queue. One of them might eat some other creatures along the way, and if the queue fills up, then the front two get to go into the nightclub. And so obviously the end of the game is whoever's ended up getting the most into the nightclub, which was me.
Yay!
Fun, silly card game. With animal actions and things. I think there are different versions. I think there are expansions and things like that. But it was sort of one of those at Games Club end of the night, bit of a filler card game kind of thing, and it worked perfectly for that, and a bit silly.
Great. Yeah,
it was fun. I also played Chicago Express that day.
Okay, bit of a classic.
Yeah.
Bit of a classic you're not going to play again?
Train games I don't gravitate towards hugely. No. Mostly because the aesthetic is quite dated. I didn't hate the game by any stretch. If someone was desperate to play it again, sure, I'll give it another go, see if I can get across and get my trains to where they need to be and get the points and bits and bid for new... What did we bid for something?
Probably trains.
Or shares. We were bidding for shares in the train lines. It was It was fine. I don't have any need to add it to my collection. I'm not chomping at the bit to play it again, but it was a nice evening of playing a game that I have not played before.
It's no Switch and Signal.
That looks nicer, I think, than this does, because I think it's slightly more modern than this game, or certainly the version of it that I played. You played your new Kickstarter, your game of the month.
Yes.
Actually, I played it too, but it's your game, so I'm trying to.
Well, yes, it does feel very much my game because I've been talking about it for so long. So I'm not going to talk about it again here because it's quite a lengthy game of the month where I talk about it. There's an unboxing where I get very excited about what's arrived. So if you want to find out my opinions on those, have a watch of those. But it's
your game of the month, so it tells you that you quite liked it.
It's good. Yeah. It's going to be in my top 50 somewhere. I know that after 3 plays, I know it's a long-term love. So, yeah. You love to theme games and theme nights, and occasionally if we're, have the opportunity, we don't mind the odd little sip of whiskey every now and again. Yeah, it's quite easy to theme a night around this one.
And you could certainly theme around that. So I mean, I don't know what music you'd put on that would be. Well,
fortunately with the Kickstarter, it came with suggested music and background music,
so
it's the perfect theme night.
Excellent.
Yay! Paris Games, thank you.
I played this before, but you also played High Score.
Yes.
Which is sort of I think a casual kind of a partying style game.
I enjoyed it. It's you're rolling dice, up to 7 dice, to try and with rules set out by a certain objective. And I like that you play 7 rounds, and each round is different. Some work better than others, admittedly, but the rules keep changing. So it's not like Can't Stop, where you're essentially doing the same thing over and over again. It keeps evolving, and that's interesting. Yeah. It's fine. It's nice enough.
Yeah, I think it's one we could probably play with your girls. Yeah. Easily, or non-gamers if you're just hanging out. I think it's quite compact, so if you did want to take it, travelling or something like that, if you're hanging about in an airport with a dice tray, absolutely fine.
It's good.
So
it does exactly what it should do. So
yeah. I played Hanamikoji for the first time.
Yes,
because your Kickstarter for Geisha's Road arrived.
You can also watch another fun unboxing of that one because I'm equally excited.
Yeah, we've got that on there as well. And I mentioned in another video that we've done recently that I think it might be my new favourite for the whole I cut, you choose kind of situation, because we've played a lot of Tussie Mussy, potentially overplayed it slightly last summer. So it's my new favourite go-to of that style of game when I'm wanting that sort of play. I really like the artwork of it. It's tough choices. You've got these 4 actions to make, and it's sometimes you're sat there going, but I don't want to do any of these yet because it's gonna give things away to him. But yes, and I like that it gives you that decision angst of what shall I do for the best,
especially towards the end of the game, because it's very quick to play. You're getting through a game in 20 minutes at most. But at the end, where you go, I'm giving you the win if you take the right card.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
There's certainly been rounds when I've thought, I should have done this in a different order. Why did I play those cards at the beginning, and now I've got no way to mitigate things. Now we're at the end with this one action that I have left.
I played it quite a lot a few years back. Before we had our own copy, so it wasn't.
And unfortunately, we can tell that by the scoreboard on the moment.
Yes, but
I'll get better.
You're getting better at it.
I'll get better.
But I do. I'm a big fan of it. It's really good to play a game.
And I'm excited for Geisha's Road to see how that changes it.
So it's essentially the same game with extra bits, just slightly more complicated version of the core mechanics.
Yeah, and they go on little travels around, don't they? So that sounds fun. So we'll give that a try. You might hear about that one next month. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say we did play a lot of Just One this month, not just because I was at Aircon and did take part in the giant Just One that Watch It Play did. I also went to the Crown Plaza one of the evenings and played another giant Just One with a whole load of people. Turns out, as I said in the Aircon video, you can play that game with as many people as you've got white boards and pens for.
Yeah.
no limit whatsoever. But we also played it with some of your family several times, different family events and dinners for birthdays.
You can explain it super quickly.
Yeah.
It works with all age groups, and as long as you've got something you can write on and a pen, it's fine.
Yeah.
You can play it, be using it as a random word generator, in fact, to keep it, different and fresh. And everyone has enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
Young and old. So it's a perennial favourite.
Yes. You played Mazescape Labyrinthos.
Yeah, I had no expectations for Mazescape at all. And I just got out of the box. It's kind of a weird curio, really. And I didn't know what to expect. And it's essentially it's a solo game.
Yes, yeah, that's solo games.
And it's kind of tricky to describe. You have a booklet, essentially, that unfolds in different ways. And you fold it back on itself, and you're basically following a track with your little wooden pencil. And then unfolding a different page to go back along the route, which might have been underneath a page. Very difficult to describe this. But it reminded me of an old kind of PlayStation game called Echo Chrome, I think it was called, where perspective changes things. It felt like that. I haven't really played anything at all like this. And I think in the base game or the opening game, you get sort of 5 different mazes. You can only really play it once. There's different objectives you can do with it. But yeah, I had no expectations for it at all. Just thought it was a bit weird. And yeah, really enjoyed it. You can't really play it on a train though, because it feels like unfolding a massive map, really. But yeah, it's a fun brain burner, really. And sometimes it's just nice to sit back and go, I want to do something really abstract and just clear my head by, absent-mindedly going, nope, that's leading down a weird path. Let's go back that way and unfold it. And that works. Really tricky to describe, but hopefully that's giving you a taste of what it is. It's a fun game. If you see it cheap, grab a copy. I enjoyed it.
You played Pendulum, which you've been looking out for quite some time, because we love a Stone Meyer game, obviously.
It pains me a little bit. I really wanted to like it, really did, because I love Stone Meyer games, and I hadn't found a dud. I'm not saying this is. It's just not measuring up to the others. But that's comparing it to like the creme de la creme, as far as I'm concerned, of game publishers. Yeah. When you've made Viticulture and Tapestry and Scythe, you just have a high expectation when it has that Stone and Wingspan, of course. I don't know how well it worked.
Right.
Because the core mechanic is obviously the sand timers, egg timers. And then it's essentially, without those, it's just a quite simple worker placements. The main goal is obviously the sand timers. You're going to put it on a more powerful one, but no, it's going to be locked in place for longer. It's going to be there for 2 minutes before you get a chance to move it.
Right.
Or would you then place it on a less powerful one, but they're quicker to turn over? And I felt like I anticipated it being really frantic and energetic and, where do I put this? Where do I need to get that? And it is when those timers run out. Then you do a quick movement. It's like, oh, now I'm just going to plan my move and sit here and wait. And the kind of problem with it is when it's your first time playing with a group of people who haven't played it before, or even when it's someone who's never played it, there's no way of regulating and making sure they understand what's going on. So on the worst, that means they're cheating the entire game, consciously or otherwise. Or it might just be that they don't understand that there's a move they could do that's going to really make their game better. Because normally when you're a player, you can kind of shepherd people's sometimes by saying, I know you're new to this, but that space is better for you to go to right now because you'll get an extra bonus.
Yes, when it's your first game, I think, depending on the player and how used to gaming and that style of gaming they are, sometimes it's nice to point out some options they might not have seen and let them then choose from them.
Just inform them that option's there.
It helps them get to grips with what's going on in the game and how it all the cogs fit together kind of thing.
But when you're focusing solely on your own board, not really what anyone else is doing, apart from the frustration if they might be somewhere you want to be, it ends up bizarrely feeling quite a solo experience.
Right, okay.
There's a race to get to certain things, and the other kind of thing I didn't particularly like was the cut-off of the game ends, and if you haven't reached a certain point, you just lose. Doesn't matter how well you've done on the other bits, you've just lost.
Right.
You've not met the minimum criteria for one thing, so you're out. I really wanted to like it, I really did, and maybe it'll be better with regular people who know the game. I will play it again, ideally with the same group of people, just to see how it plays differently. But for the time being, it's my least favourite of the Stonemaier games.
Yeah.
So
big words, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I've expressed, hopefully, I'm disappointed because I just really wanted to like it.
So from a disappointment to a surprise, my game of the month.
Yeah.
Which obviously you can see on our Game of the Month feature, but it's Poetry for Neanderthals.
I mean, hands up, who thought Libby's Game of the Month would be a party game?
No one. No one. But it was such fun at Aircon. I was meeting new people, making new friends, and there's an inflatable club of which you get to potentially bop people on the head with. What's not to like?
If you're in Britain, all I'm going to say is mallet's mallet.
Yeah.
If you're in America, you're now looking thoroughly confused, but worth a Google perhaps. Yeah,
I mean that was a game, but yeah, you're chatting in monosyllabic. Yeah, words, just trying to describe words on a card. It's a full-on party silly game, and it was just a lot of fun meeting new people and failing.
Games sound good, me won't play.
Yes, I'm not. Maybe you on team me. Yeah.
We win. Game good.
Yeah, that one. You get the gist of how it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes with stuff that people say and then what people guess on that basis is also quite hilarious, as well as the potential threatening of the.
Yeah, there's people I'd like to play it with. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And there is a slightly more risque adult version, which I know certain people but absolutely love.
Yes, my brother might enjoy that one for sure. So yeah, that was my game of the month, and it was a lot of fun. I was surprised by that one for sure. I mean, we seem to mention Root every time, but let's just say, super excited for the new expansion.
Yeah, so it's a digital version. We're not accidentally announcing some sort of board game expansion, but the digital. So you've got the Underground expansion out on the app.
Yes.
A big fan of the app. Great way of learning new factions and also experimenting with different play techniques for when you play it with others. But yeah, just having that as a good resource to teach people. Well, if you want to know what the moles or the rogue birds, the Corvid Conspiracy are like, get the app, have a play, and then we can play in person.
Yeah, obviously we much prefer to play Root in person whenever possible, but we do often have a digital game on in the background mulling away as well, and it's nice to sort of remember the different factions.
Yes, it's good to have that refresher and keep the main thing in the digital app though is the introduction of the advanced setup.
Yes, I think that's going to be much better.
Yeah. That levels the playing field for different factions and also removes the kind of random chance of things. It gives you still a man choice to always play with that when playing in person, so it's good. It's on the app as well.
Yep. Next new game we played was a Savernake Forest. I played it loads at Aircon because I was teaching people it, and then we came back. I taught you. There is a live playthrough on the channel as well as the teach thing. So if you haven't caught that yet, go check that one out.
Great little tile placement. Proper thinky game.
Really enjoy it, and I think it really changes from 2 players to 4 players because you're limited on that choice. They don't refresh between choices. It's only at the end of the turn, so you can end up with something that really doesn't work for you. But that's all part and parcel of how you're putting things in, how you're managing what you've got, what food elements, who likes what, etc. So yeah, really, really cute game. Really enjoy it. Yeah. I think it'll be a staple that we'll go to. Again, another one, much like Bärenpark, which we can pull out easily, get to the table quickly and easily, potentially not have to be at the big table. It could be maybe a more relaxed play situation, and the kind of thing that I can play with my non-gamer friends as well, because it's super easy to pick up. So
it's barely an inconvenience.
Love it. I also played Scout for the first time. Heard so much about it in the last year or so. I think it was all over the internet last year's Aircon. Everyone was going wild for it, and
I'm kicking myself because I saw it at UK Games Expo, and I think it just came out at that point.
Or more available suddenly.
And I didn't buy it, and I didn't really know much about it. I still don't really know much about it, to be honest. I just know everyone loves it, and I feel like I'm missing out having never played it.
Yeah, it's a fun card play, and you pick up your cards and you can't rearrange them, and they have they have two numbers, like one at the top half, one at the bottom half. So you can decide to pick them up one way or t'other way, and then once you've done that, you're stuck with them.
With it, yeah.
And then it's how you play around the table with other people. If you can take a turn, if you can better their turn, or if you can't. Yeah, really fun to play.
I'm always very impressed with Oink games. We played Startups, I think, for the first time last month. We've been playing some Fake Artists this month. And obviously, Deep Sea Adventure we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And before, I think Oink games are really well known. I got it very cheap, in fact. So, yeah, there's a lot of really good games in their collection. And I think they're beginning to now come better, well known, and easier to get hold of.
They pack a lot of replayability, and you can pick them up quite easily and play them with a lot of different types of people into a tiny box. Yeah. They certainly do that.
Great
very
for conventions to take with you and just pull out and
you've got something.
Yeah.
So that was fun. We played Ubongo, the mini travel
Ubongo
one. Yeah. That's sort of placing polyomino tiles to fill a certain space that you need to do. I was quite good at that.
It's wonderfully frustrating because you know the answer is in front of your face. It has to be because you've got the same tiles. It's so obvious why it's not clicking in place. But sometimes it does, and that's magical when you can see the look in your opponent's face going, why can't I get this?
The thing is, if you put one tile down at the beginning in the wrong place, you're trying to fit everything in around it, and you've kind of got to remember that actually that one's not a certainty.
That impulsive first move
there first
doesn't count.
Could definitely be wrong. But yeah, a lot of fun, and we played it with your girls, and they had fun doing that. And I think it's one that we can easily bring out again.
Yes, it's a little
gem. Enjoy it.
Little hidden gem.
Yeah, and I've got the smaller version because we just thought it'd be handy for travel and quick gaming. But I think there are a lot of I know there are a lot of different versions. There is a big 3D version which works slightly differently because you've got the 3D things to build up as well, and you've got on the flat.
Yeah, and you've got the junior version for the very, very young. Wouldn't do it for anyone sort of younger than 5, I think. But I'm
not sure on the age cut-off, but certainly your daughters
they're fine with the normal version.
We're fine with the normal version, yeah, for sure. I played via Nebula for the first time, which is kind of like My Little Scythe to Scythe, but for Brass Birmingham.
So simpler, streamlined.
Or is it brass or brass? Don't quote me on which type of brass.
One of the brasses.
Sort of brassish, but you know.
One of them brassy games.
Yeah, but yeah, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I haven't played brass for a little while. We have got it on the shelf and need to get it out. So it did just basically make me want to play that a little bit more. But you're trying to get your different materials to be able to take them to the correct area that you need them to be. You're hopefully getting people to take your materials as well so that you can get your people back to be able to do something else with them. All that stuff's going on. You've got objectives to meet and things. So it was a fun game. I enjoyed that. I don't think that I need it, given that we have the other one, unless the girls particularly hike up and want to do something more. It might be one that we consider a little bit down the line, probably for them at the moment, I would say. And they have quite a few that they enjoy playing at the minute, so once they're looking for something new,
it's an option.
Maybe, so that's us.
So surprisingly busy considering your conventions and work's been busy, so it's got quite a few through the table. But what have you been playing in March? Do let us know down in the comments below. Or what have we been playing that particularly has caught your interest? Maybe we've talked about a game you're like, I didn't know that existed. Or I love the idea of having an inflatable hammer to hit people over the head when they're trying to make caveman noises. How do I play this?
Or you might be thinking, there's some new games on the shelf there. Did you not play those?
Why have you not been playing those?
You should play those in April. Welcome to let us know which ones you want to see us talk about.
But if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video and ringing the notification bell. We post about two or more videos every week, all about board games.
Yep, we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching.